This is Ray Holman, 1D Central Representative and Legislative Liaison. I'm up here at the Walter and May Ruther Training Center in beautiful Onaway, Michigan. Today we're going to interview Tim Hughes. Tim has a long history working with the UAW and the Michigan AFL-CIO. In fact, he was also Governor Granholm's legislative liaison. So Tim, the Michigan legislature, the Michigan State Legislature, is coming back on September 7th. And what are some hot topics, or what are some issues or bills or legislation that could affect UAW Local 6000 members, Michigan State employees?
Well, the one biggest one that we've been working on has to do with a situation in the Unemployment Insurance Agency, where the people that run the agency have made a decision to kind of empower the computer to make decisions about whether somebody's committing fraud. And they're doing a terrible job of it. The computer decisions, when they're appealed, an Auditor General study found, are only upheld 8% of the time. 8 out of 100 of the fraud cases are actually turned out to be fraud. But in the meantime, laid off workers are getting screwed. They wind up getting accused of a crime. The agency sends the information to this website that nobody checks, and they can do it up to 6 years after the fact, accuse them of fraud, and then when somebody doesn't respond within 10 days because they never saw the notice, they convict them of fraud, levy a 400% penalty, and charge 12% interest a month on top of that. People don't even know it's happening, and the first indication they get that anything's wrong is when maybe their paycheck is garnished or their income tax refund is seized. But in the meantime, there's a lot of people that don't know how to appeal, and they're like facing a second mortgage because of the size of the dollar amount for something that wasn't fraud in the first place, and they were never even properly notified about it. So it's just a miscarriage of justice. On a bipartisan fashion, there's like 80-some co-sponsors, Democrats and Republicans. We got a sort of strong bill reported out of committee. It's House Bill 4982, and we're going to try and get the House to pass the strong version. It's called the H6 version. It's like the sixth draft of the bill. It's on the House floor, and we hope to get it through the House, particularly during the September lame duck session, which is a couple, 3 weeks. There's maybe 20 days of session for the entire year, and half of them are before the election, a little more than half of them are after the election. And so it's going to be a push to get it through, but we're working really hard on it, and we hope that all your viewers will contact their legislators and tell them to vote yes for House Bill 4982, the strong version as it came out of committee, because we are going to have some of the business community trying to water it down.
Yeah, this is really outrageous. I mean, it's really horrible. We've been dealing with software issues in state government quite a bit. But, you know, for our members to have influence and reach out and talk with the lawmakers about this particular bill that we're advocating and supporting, you know, what's some good techniques? I know that you work around the Capitol for many years, but when our state employees on their own time reach out to lawmakers, you know, how should they approach the lawmaker? I mean, what are some tips you would give them as a longtime lobbyist?
Well, I think it helps to make it personal. If you can find someone in your local that's been victimized by robo fraud, or you know, we have examples of people that have testified, and you take that information to them and say, this is what happened to this person. It's not then just an anonymous computer transaction. It was somebody suddenly being told, you owe tens of thousands of dollars for something that you never did. And in most of these cases, the way that they decide them, they'll say, well, you reported your after-tax wages to the agency, and the employer reported your gross wages. And so they'll look at it and say, well, they're different. The employer must be right. We're accusing you of fraud. You got 10 days to respond. People don't even know this is going on, and suddenly they get this bill for, you know, $20,000. The irony is that they can't seem to find people to accuse them of fraud, but they don't have any problem finding them when they want to take their money out of their paycheck. Then they hook up with the Treasury Department and others and track them down. So there'll be much stronger notification in this legislation. But the key is to, you know, stick to the facts. But if you can, what we call put a face on it, not just be a fact sheet, but show, here's an example of somebody who got, you know, falsely accused. this one guy, Michael Vela, who testified in front of the committee, wound up, they garnished something like $5,000 out of his paycheck. He had to wind up working 6 days a week, 12-hour days to make up that lost money just so he could pay his bills. Finally, the time came when they admitted that they were wrong and refunded the money, and at the hearing where they made that decision, the agency didn't even show up. So it's been a very frustrating experience.
Wow, it's just incredible. It's hard to believe this is actually happening, but it is. And Tim, thanks a lot for that information. We are going to continue to stay on top of this issue. Again, we appreciate it. Is there any last thoughts regarding this particular bill? Anything else we can do as state employees?
I think the important thing is to reach out to your legislators, point out to them that this is a very bipartisan solution to a very unfair situation. A lot of times unemployment bills tend to be very partisan, Democrats against Republicans. On this one, I think we have 50-some Republican sponsors and 30-some Democrats. So it's bipartisan. On the committee, some of the business associations opposed the bill, and even the Republicans on the committee said huff, and they voted out unanimously. So they need to understand that this is a very bipartisan approach to correct a very unfair situation.
Okay, very good. Well, it's a call to action. So we have 17,300 members, and hopefully you guys all speak out on this, this miscarriage of justice. So there you have it. This is Ray Holman with the Can We Talk program. Remember to follow us on Facebook. Remember to check us out on our webpage, uawlocal6000.org. And also, please share these videos. That's how we have power. Now, do not use work time. Do not use work equipment. But on lunchtime, after work, take your iPhone out. Share this information with other UAW Local 6000 members. That's how we become powerful. Again, for the Can We Talk program, coming to you from the Walter and May Reuther Training Center, this is Ray Holman.